Hello everyone. Today I'm taking you on a sonic journey, showing you how to control external synthesizers through VCV Rack, integrating incredible gear like the Behringer Crave, Behringer Wasp, Korg Volca Bass and Volca FM. I'll also be using a Behringer FCB1010 pedal board and the Crave itself as MIDI controllers, forming a real contraption that generates solid musical sequences, perfect for improvisations or sparking new composition ideas. To get started, everything is organized with the Impromptu Clocked module. I set the BPM to 114 and choose the first row of clock ratios with a click ratio of x2, ensuring that the entire performance stays in perfect sync. From there, I dive into the heart of the patch with the VCV Seq3 module. In it, I use the first row of 8 notes to feed the Crave, Volca Bass and Volca FM, and the second row to control the Behringer Wasp. Every knob is carefully adjusted, from the 0 volts at step 1 up to the incremental voltages that give each note its unique character. Next, I integrate the Count Modula 8-step trigger sequencer, which sends triggers to sample and hold modules. This part is crucial. Channel 1 controls the flow of notes for the Crave, Channel 2 for the Volca Bass, Channel 3 for the Volca FM, and Channel 4 for the Wasp. To keep everything in tune, I use 2 quantizers, one for each Seq3 channel, ensuring that all notes stay within the defined scale. To add that touch of variation and surprise, I connect 4 sample and hold modules, one for each synthesizer. These modules hold each note until a new trigger is sent by the 8-step sequencer, allowing for a dynamic performance full of nuances. Then I convert the control signals into MIDI messages using CV to MIDI modules, one for each external synthesizer, so they respond exactly as I want. The sound produced then returns to VCV Rack via the Audio 16 module, which captures the audio from the synthesizers and sends it to the virtual mixing console, the MixMaster plus aux expander from Meld. With auxiliary channel A, I route the signal to the Plateau reverb from Valet, enriching and spatializing the final sound. And it doesn't stop there. I also use MIDI cat modules from Store Melder to control patch parameters via the Behringer Crave and the FCB1010 pedal board. This integration allows me to remotely adjust the root note and scale of the quantizers, while the expression pedal on the FCB1010 controls the sustain on the Wasp and other parameters on the outputs of the 8-step trigger sequencer. Alright, let's start connecting everything. Let's connect clock 1 output from the clocked module to the clock input of the Seq3 module. Then connect the same clock 1 output to the clock input of the first row of the 8-step trigger sequencer. Now, let's send triggers to the sample and hold modules. Take 4 patch cables and connect out A, out C, out E and out G from the 8-step trigger sequencer to the trigger inputs of the sample and hold modules. Each one will control a different synth. Next, let's quantize the sequences. Connect CV1 output from Seq3 to the voltage input of the first quantizer. Do the same for CV2 output, but send it to the second quantizer. Now, take 3 patch cables and connect the quantized output of the first quantizer to the signal inputs of the first 3 sample and hold modules. Then connect the quantized output of the second quantizer to the signal input of the 4th sample and hold module. Time to route those signals to MIDI. Take the sampled signal output from each sample and hold module and connect it to the V-octave input of the corresponding CV MIDI module. This will translate the control voltage into MIDI for our external synths. Now let's mix everything inside the VCV Rack. The Plateau reverb is set up in loop send return on auxiliary A of the MixMaster console to add some space to our sound. Now we are going to use our CV MIDI module to send a MIDI signal to the external modules and then reconnect the audio signal onto the mixer of the VCV Rack. Let's add some reverb to Behringer Crave. Select and deselect some triggers in the raw one of the 8-step trigger sequencer to make our composition a little bit more interesting. You can add it on your own taste, of course. Heading on to the second CV MIDI module, we are going to connect the output V-octave to the Korg Volca Bass through channel 14 and then reconnect to the audio mixer. I'm going to do some configuration again to the triggers. Next, we are going to configure the Volca FM synthesizer. And last but not least, we are going to connect our beefy bass, Behringer Wasp. Let's set up some remote control options. The mute buttons for out A, C and E are mapped to different foot switches on the FCB1010, giving me hands-free control over the sequence. And finally, let's bring in some extra low end. I'll plug my bass into the audio interface and send it through output 9 of the audio 16 module straight into channel 5 on the mixing console. And of course, I'll add some reverb on the bass as well, because you can never have too much reverb. In the end, whatever you're setting the stage for a live improvisation or generating new composition ideas, this patch is an excellent starting point. Every connection and adjustment has been designed so that step by step you can build your own hybrid control network full of creative possibilities. Remember, All the details of this patch, along with the complete video and audio performance, are available on my Patreon page. I truly appreciate your patience, and I hope you feel inspired to explore new musical frontiers. Let's make music together.